Diode lasers cannot engrave glass and clear acrylic. Fiber lasers cannot engrave wood, and CO2 lasers cannot engrave bare metals. So what if I tell you there's another kind of laser out there that can engrave all of those materials plus a lot more? Pretty much any material you can think about, this laser can do, including food, without making it taste horrible or smell burnt. Hey you guys, I'm so excited. Today we are going to test and review the Commarker Omni1. And no, the laser is not this light. This is an empty box. I already unboxed this laser and put it together. Let me show you around and we'll talk about it right now. Now here is the laser, and before I take you around the laser, let's talk a little bit about it. I actually filmed the whole unboxing and setting it up, and then I decided not to show you that footage. I'll just put a couple of clips here and there. And that's because the video would have been too long and it's really not much useful footage in there. The laser, when you get it out of the box, let me bring you a little bit closer. The laser in the box, you'll just find three big components. One, it's this base. You get it the way you see it here with the cable already attached to it and stuff. So you get the base, then you get this big tower that the laser is sitting on, and this is the laser unit. So those are the three pieces that were in the box together with the cables and a couple of little accessories. Now the assembly couldn't be easier. It just takes 8 screws. Let me show you. So you use 4 screws over here to attach this big tower base to the main base, and then you use another 4 screws over here to attach the laser to the tower. So that was pretty much all the assembly. So there you go. I just saved you 15 minutes that, you didn't need to watch. Now, if you do decide to purchase this machine, please use the link in the description below. It is an affiliate link. That means to no extra cost to you. I will be making a small commission. And from there, all I had to do is just plug in all the cables and I was ready to start testing. And actually, before I show you the material, let me just tell you, this is a UV laser. So it's different than a diode laser or a CO2 laser or a fiber laser. This is a UV laser. It's a 5-watt laser. Now, before you start thinking that this is going to be a weak laser, just you wait to see what it can do. Even though it's only 5 watts, because it's a UV laser, it runs at 355 nanometer, and because of that short wavelength, it can engrave pretty much any material, and it's very, very powerful. Actually, it would be comparing with a maybe 20 or 30 watt fiber laser. So now I will turn on the machine and show you how to focus and how it works, and I'll show you the buttons and all of that. But before we get into that, I want to show you some test materials that I did so you can see what this laser can do, because I think that's what everyone wants to see. Now let's check out some testing that I've done. My first testing that I've done was on this aluminum coated business card, and I just wanted to see how small that spot is, see all the details in there, and I was really, really impressed with that. I also did a photo of myself in there, and I thought that ended up really, really well as well. Lots of details in there, but I did expect that. Then, since I was working with business cards, I decided to engrave some business cards here, put my logo on it. That one you can't see it so well because it's yellow, but you will see it better on, I have a pink one as well. You will see it better on the blue one, I think, just because of the color. Beautiful, beautiful, crisp engraving. So I was very happy with that. Then I tried to do a photo on a piece of wood, and this was my first time engraving on wood with this laser. This laser is different than diode lasers because you don't work with power. You are working with frequencies and pulse and lines per centimeter, which I was not used to it at all. So I tried to guess the settings, and my power was way too much. This is a picture of my daughter. Now, at the first glance, it looks fantastic, but if you look closely, where the hair is dark, it really went deep, and I had way too much power in there. But other than that, I thought the engraving was fantastic. Just, you know, a picture of my daughter on a piece of wood. After that, I wanted to see if this laser can engrave on ceramic. So I have these ceramic coasters that I bought. I wanted to engrave a whole bunch of them and put them with my orders when people buy stuff as a gift. They have cork back, and it engraves spectacular on ceramic. Very crisp, very nice. I didn't coat this coaster with anything. This is just a ceramic coaster, and I didn't spray it with anything, just straight on it, and just really, really pleased with the way it did. After I did the ceramic coaster, I decided to try it on stainless steel, and again, I was not familiar with the settings, so I think I used too much power, but look how dark this coin is. I mean, I have never been able to engrave this dark on stainless steel. Super. Where is the camera? Can I get it with the macro? I just want you to see how clear it is. Super, super clear engraving. All right. And because it did so well on that tag there, I have these brass coins, and I bought a whole bunch of these guys a long time ago because I wanted to, the same thing, put it with my orders as a little gift when people shop from my website or my Etsy store. And I always had a little bit of trouble getting dark engraving on brass, but not with this laser. Look how fantastic the engraving is. So clear and so dark. I have a gold one and I have a silver one, and I think they're both brass, but so beautiful. Really, really nice engraving on those. Now this laser, you know, it says it can engrave on fabric like denim and so on. So I wanted to try that, and of course I didn't know any of these settings, the way it works with frequency and pulse. The laser does come with suggested parameters, so I kind of use this for a guidance. So the first time I tried to engrave, I tried on this felt. The laser comes with a whole bunch of felt for testing, and the engraving here ended up really, really nice. It actually engraved it, and you can see in the other side, didn't go through, so it didn't damage the material. It's still intact, that side, but it did engrave it here. And then I tried to cut the material, and I couldn't get the settings right. I kept burning it, and then in the evening when I was editing the clips, I realized what I was doing wrong. Instead of putting my laser into the software into the line mode so I can just cut, I still had it into the fill mode, so just basically burning all the material on the inside. So the next day I came back in the shop and tried it again on felt. This time I tried some blue felt, and I cut. You see how intricate cuts you can make? I cut this out of felt. It's just a design that I had for a cross. It was an inlay that says Fate, and very, very small cut. It did not burn it at all. I don't know if you can see the edges. Does not have any black on it. So is the piece that I cut it from. It looks like you cut it with a blade, like zero burning. That's what I'm talking about, UV lasers. They do not burn the material. So super, super nice results. Zero charring, zero burning. I was very, very impressed with this. Then my next test was on these cans of wax that I sell on my website. And I usually use a label to put on it, but then I thought, what if I can engrave my logo on the back? So that's what I did. I put my logo onto this can of wax. Ended up a really, really nice, crisp engraving. Very, very happy with it. One amazing thing about UV laser is the fact that it can engrave on clear acrylic and glass. Now, CO2 lasers can also engrave on acrylic and glass, but not at this quality. UV lasers are way better for this, gives you a better, crispier, nicer engraving, and you don't have to treat the acrylic or the glass with anything. You just put it on the machine and use it. Let me take a black card just so you can see. if I put this behind it. Very nice, crisp engraving. This is acrylic, clear acrylic. And I was very, very pleased with the way I engraved on this. You can actually make a business just from acrylic engravings. You can make all kinds of desk name tags. You can make night lights with it. They have these kits, you can buy them on Amazon, where it has the acrylic portion and then it has a light underneath to light it up. Very popular with children. You can make all kinds of little kids designs like Spider-Man, princesses, unicorns, whatever. You can make a business with the acrylic engraving. Next material I wanted to test was leather. I know leather patches are very popular, and I have two leather patches here. One is brown and one is gray. Again, this is the gray one. Super crisp, nice engraving. No burning, no charring. Usually when you engrave leather, you get all this burning thing that you have to clean up and wipe off. This is straight from the laser. Really, really nice engraving. Very impressed with the leather. Now, I'm a woodworker and I don't have an engraving business, so I decided to test this more on wood and see if it can actually cut wood. This kind of lasers, they're not designed for cutting, they're mostly for engraving. But I took this 3mm plywood and I have the same inlay, the Fate inlay, and I cut it. This piece, I broke a piece because it's been sitting around the shop for the last few days while I was testing the laser. But I just want to show you something really interesting. You see the edges? There's no charring. You don't get that black soot that you have to clean up. It is super, super clean. No black at all. Just nice, clean cut. And that is super impressive. I've never had a laser that can cut clean like this wood without charring it. Now, because I'm a woodworker, I also wanted to test how this laser engraves on different woods, because that's where mostly I would be using this laser. And I have here a bunch of woods that I tested, so I'm just gonna quickly flip through them just so you can see how they engrave on different kind of woods. And I was surprised it did perfect with every single one of them. It didn't struggle with any type of wood. Every single one of them turned out beautiful. The engraving, it's really dark and crisp, as you can see. There is no smudges, no burning. Even on the dark wenge, this is wenge, you can still see it very clear and very crisp. There was no wood there that I threw at it that it struggled with. So this is pretty much all the woods I use in my shop, and I wanted to see how it will perform. So very, very nice on wood. There is some zebra wood, the yellow heart. So very, very nice on wood. Another popular engraving item is the slate coaster. So here is my engraving on a coaster. Really nice job. Like I said, I'm not familiar with these parameters with frequency and pulse, so I just used whatever they suggested on those pieces of paper. So that's what I used. Now, remember how I told you that this laser can engrave fantastic on glass, clear glass, without having to treat it with any kind of marking spray or anything? Well, I have this pickle jar here from some pickles we just finished, and I tried to engrave on it. The first engraving, I used the parameters that came with the machine, and the first try, it burned through it a little bit too deep. You can see right there where chipped a little bit of the glass. So that was my first attempt, and then I increased the speed and we got some really, really nice engraving there. I put the black cardstock inside just so you can see the engraving, but I think you can engrave glass really, really nicely, better than with a CO2 laser. And engraving on glass, it's big money makers. Think about if you know a wedding planner, for example, and you can get into the wedding business. I've been to many weddings where the couple gives away their glass, their wine glass or champagne glass from the wedding, and it has a bride and a groom on it with their names on it and the day they got married. So really good business on glass engraving. In fact, both of my kids for Christmas, they had on their wish list these glasses. It's really just a jar with a lid and a straw. There was clear glass and it had some design engraved on it. And both of my kids wanted that, and I ended up buying it on Etsy, even though I could have just made it myself. On to the next engraving. I wanted to see if I can engrave onto a glass ornament. So I have a glass ornament here, and I didn't set the focus right because this is a round object. You really should be using a rotary tool, and you know, when this sits on the table, it's not flat, so the focus, it's not perfect everywhere. But I did engrave my logo on it. So here is my engraving on the ornament, and as you can see, it's gold here, but then kind of silver here. Well, that's because this gold, I actually put gold paint to match the gold tab over here. So I filled it in from the inside. The laser just removed the paint, so it left just the glass. So I was able to put the paint inside and make it a gold. But over here where it was out of focus, it didn't remove all the paint. So now we have kind of that silvery look. It did not want it to get colored with gold. But I think if you have a rotary tool, you can totally do glass ornaments. And I've seen people do it successfully. So I think that could be another really good seller if you want to get into the business of engraving ornaments. I found to my shop this keychain that I bought a long time ago to do engravings, and the keychain engraved beautiful as expected. Also, I had a can of Diet Coke, so I tried to engrave this. I went kind of over the red and the silver just to kind of see what it looks like on both. And the engraving, it's beautiful, it's crisp. So you can engrave on cans of Coke. Now, a big thing about this laser is the fact that it can engrave on food, and it doesn't smell burned and it doesn't taste burned. So I didn't know what to test it on, so I tested on an apple, and this is the engraving. It definitely engraved it, did not burn it, it just kind of took the skin off around there. And this apple has been sitting now in my shop for a few days. I've been holding it so I can show it to you guys. And then I also engraved on a tiny orange. Now remember, the focus was not perfect on this because the orange is not flat, and it's a little bit shriveled. It's kind of an old orange, but it did engrave on it, so I was very, very pleased with that. Now, I don't think that anybody would buy one of these lasers to engrave apples or oranges, but where I see the value of this in food industry is if you're a baker, and imagine again weddings, if you have macaroons and you can engrave the names of the bride and groom and the date on it, or birthday parties for kids, you can have unicorns and princesses engraved on cookies. So that could be a really big business in food industry, not for oranges and apples, but you know. Now this laser comes with two lenses, one that is installed in your machine, and that is a 150 millimeter lens, and then you have another one that is 75 millimeter lens. The 150 millimeter lens, the work size area will be around 150 by 150 millimeter, which is about 6 inches. And for this 75 millimeter lens, it will be about 3 inches by 3 inches work area. The smaller lens, it will give you even more smaller spot size, so that means more precise, and you can get so much more details. Although everything that I tested with the 150, and it seems so precise and so detailed that I don't know when you will ever use something like this. So now that we saw what materials can engrave and how it performs, let's take a look around the machine just to show you a little bit how it looks like and how it focuses. I will turn on the machine, that means it's going to get a little bit noisy here. So I apologize for that, but I cannot show you the focusing unless the machine is on. So let's do that. So the machine in the back, let me put you to the back here. This is where all the cables are for if you have a rotary tool, if you have an enclosure. This is how the base connects to this tower piece. So simple, just connection cables in the back. Then in the front, you have your emergency stop button, you have your power on and off, and this is the two arrows up and down. This is how you focus the machine. I don't know if you can see there, let me bring you closer, but on the bed of the machine here you will see two red dots. You want those two red laser dots to be overlapping one on top of each other, and that means that's when you are focused. So in order to focus on the top of this bed, I need to lower the machine. You see the points are getting closer and closer. There you go, now the machine is focused for this distance. Now you can also move the laser up and down with this knob on the top. I just prefer to use the buttons. They're very, very easy and they seem to work well. Now when it comes to framing, as you can see, we do not see my design in here because we can't see this UV light with our naked eye. So that's why they included this palette. This palette is going to allow us to see the framing. You see how now we can see exactly where we'll be framing. So that's what this green palette is for. So who is this machine for? Is it for beginners? Well, when we look at the price at $4,000, I really don't think it's a beginner's machine. This is more for someone that is serious and, you know, you're not buying a $4,000 machine to just engrave your kid's apple in their lunchbox, right? This is a machine for someone that is serious and wants to start a business and wants to make money and pretty much recover those $4,000 as soon as possible. Now, on the other hand, because it's so easy to put together and because you can engrave all those materials, then you could say it was a beginner machine because it's easy. Anybody can do it. You do not need experience on a laser. So you can put it together in 5 minutes and you can start using it. And the fact that I can engrave on all materials is also great for beginners if you're trying to start a business, an engraving business, because as a new business owner, you don't know what you're going to sell. You don't know what is going to be successful or unsuccessful in selling. So you can start engraving on everything: mugs, glass, dog tags, dog collars, wood, whatever you can think of, you can do it with this machine and then see what sticks, see what sells, and then go from there, and that will give you a better pattern what you need to do next. Now, this is also great for people that have lots of experience with lasers. If you have worked with many lasers, diode laser, CO2 laser, fiber laser, then adding one of these machines to your shop can also open even more possibilities in this whole material library that now you can engrave. And that can make your business grow. So in conclusion, I think this is a fantastic laser. I did not have much time to work with this one, so my parameters when I did all this testing maybe was not perfect, but I'll be playing around more with it and try to learn more about it. And I'm sure I will see you back in another video with a little bit better projects. I hope this was useful to you and you learned something new. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Skylar Ewing and I'll see you in my next video.